Welcome back to She Talks Money, the podcast where we explore the intersections of wealth, wellness, and wisdom. Today's guest is here to remind us that true success starts within. I'm joined by Ahna Miki, founder of Regenerative Birth. Ahna guides women through powerful healing work by reconnecting them with their feminine power, using ancestral nutrition, detoxification, nervous system regulation, and inner child healing. Her work is both radical and restorative, and I'm so honored to have her here. In this episode, we talk about what it means to truly come home to yourself and how unprocessed childhood wounds can hold us back in our business, our relationships, and our ability to receive abundance. Get ready for a conversation that's going to move energy and shift mindsets. Welcome to She Talks Money, Ahna.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So your work is so beautifully layered. Can you share a bit about your personal healing journey and what led you to this path?
Yeah. It's a long story, but I'll try to kind of like sum it up in a way that makes sense. So, what really led me to my own healing and kind of forced me into learning how to heal my body was when I had just this whole list of physical symptoms, right? And I couldn't figure out Western medicine wasn't doing it. And I struggled with, and I think many women struggle with these things like PCOS, PMS, right? A lot of cycle irregularities, cramping. I had chronic lower back pain. I had chronic stress, anxiety, and honestly, depression that I didn't really recognize was there. IBS, like the list goes on, hormonal imbalances. And so that really, after multiple attempts with like Western medicine and after being on birth control for many, many, many years, I kind of took it into my own hands to figure out what was going on in my body. And I was led to physical detoxification. And that was after trying all the other things. But when God placed detox in my life, it totally transformed me in ways that I can't really put into words. But that is when I really started to clear my physical body of all of this stuck, like the stuck energy, the stuck toxins that were overloading me and really causing a lot of my symptoms.
Sure.
And it was also at that point that it was like my signal to God, like, hey, I'm really actually ready to heal. And so after a while of detoxing, that's when a lot of repressed childhood trauma came forward. And a lot of repressed childhood sexual abuse came forward. And I share that so openly because I know that this is something that many women have been through. And it showed me why we get physical symptoms in the first place.
Right.
So like I could chase all the diet, I could do all the exercise, I could do all the things, but if I wasn't tending to my suppressed emotions from childhood, I wasn't actually getting to the root. And so that led me, down an even deeper healing journey. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, first of all, thank you for being so courageous and brave to share that part of your story. And I'm older, so I'm in my mid-40s, but I can't tell you how many women I speak to that I can't lose weight. I'm doing all of the things. I'm exercising. I'm eating healthy. I'm chasing these things, but yet we feel stuck, right? And I feel like until we take that look inside and say, okay, what's really going on here? And that's scary, right? That's like the really scary journey to take, and it's not easy. But in my own personal experiences, taking that head on and saying, okay, I'm going to work through this so that I can heal, to your point, your inner child and kind of move on with my life. So that is amazing. What can you first, I guess I'm going to back up before I ask the next question. And can you go into a little bit of what that detoxification looked like?
Totally. Yeah. So, and the reason, so like when I started with physical detox, I think the reason why this is so powerful is because physical detox isn't just like the random juice cleanse that you might think detox is.
Right.
But if, like, when you're really doing it right and you're being guided correctly, it's so much more than physical. Like, this is spiritual, this is emotional, like everything that's been trapped in your body starts to come forward and make its way out. And so it's not the prettiest process, right? Like we think, oh, a detox is going to make us feel like better, but often things have to, right? We have to move the stuff that's been weighing us down. So it has to make its way out. So like my journey started with being plant-based. So just from switching to, I switched to being plant-based, which started to decrease a lot of the inflammation in my body. And then I started like flooding my body with the right nutrients, adding in certain products that started to help remove heavy metals. I started doing parasite cleansing, and it really was decreasing a lot of the inflammation. And then I came to a certain point in my journey where then I started getting the message, you got to add animal products back in.
Oh.
Yes. And so that also has been a very interesting part of my story that I can kind of go into later on how women need animal fats. But there is a lot of benefit to spending short periods of time with just plants if it hasn't been something that you've done before.
Okay.
And you're doing it correctly and you're doing it with herbs. And
Sure.
so that's really what started my journey with detox. That started to move a lot of the stuck energy in my body. And then when you get to a certain point where things start to get really clean, you get, right? We have layers to us. So then the deeper layers started to come forward. And that's when like the childhood stuff started to come forward. And
Sure.
I realized, oh, this is why I have my symptoms. It's not just because I eat a certain way or, right?
Right.
So that was powerful.
That is very powerful. So what does feminine power mean to you, and why do so many women feel disconnected from it?
So this is a good question. And my answer might be a little different than what people might expect, but this is kind of what I've learned along my journey is when we think about feminine power, it's very different than masculine power. So feminine power to me is more of a silent power.
Okay.
And yeah, and so, our world, right? We are kind of, we're praised for being in our masculine, right? So like we're in a world that doesn't necessarily advocate and allow women to fully be in their soft feminine flow.
Right.
And I think that that's why we're so disconnected from our power, because we as women aren't supposed to function like men. And when we do trying to do everything like men, it's making us sick.
Okay.
And I know this because I literally lived it, and I'm still unwinding all of that, like, deep programming within me. Like I worked corporate job for many years. I was, just like, climbing the ladder, and that's really how I saw that I was worthy at the time.
Right.
And when I ended up quitting my corporate job, that's when I was shown, like, I was like, that's when a lot of my emotional healing with that began too. Cause I was like, wow, I put all my worth into this job.
Right.
Like without it, right? Well, who am I? What am I? So starting my own business and detox and all of that alone brought up a lot of healing. But back to the feminine power, I think we are so disconnected because we're trying to function like men. And I think part of the reason for this too is because a lot of us I mean, specifically, I'll just talk about myself, for instance. When you experience something traumatic, right? Or you've been, hurt or whatever, the first thing that women do is we close our heart, right? We guard ourselves.
Right.
And the feminine is like her greatest gift to this world is her heart and the embodiment of love. But when we're so guarded and we have this like giant protector, thing about us, right? We're in our masculine. We can't be, right? We can't just be in our soft receiving feminine flow. So I think that's part of the reason that we're disconnected. But feminine power to me it's in the way a woman carries herself. Women are captivating, right? Like women are captivating in a way that men can't be,
right,
necessarily. And we're designed both so differently, so beautifully. Like we're unique for a reason and complement each other for, in all the ways. And when I say silent, I don't necessarily mean that we're supposed to be quiet and never speak our truth or anything like that. Because I'm a big believer women need to find their voice, and we're not, we don't have to be like the silent, submissive, like good girls that, right, that maybe we feel like we have to be. We feel we have to be perfect. We feel we can't be messy. We have to be all put together. And that's not the feminine. Feminine is...
No, I was going to say, don't you think a lot of this comes from this hustle culture? And don't get me wrong, like I'm all about hustle, but also as women, we typically are the caregivers. So we're hustling, we're taking care of everybody.
Yes.
Often, though, at the expense of ourselves, right? We forget about ourselves, to your point. We're not showing ourselves enough of that love. Yeah. You just see so many women getting stuck and sick because it's like this rat race, right? And we're forgetting to pause, I think.
No, that's totally part of it. That's a huge part of it. And when I think about women and the way we're designed, we're actually designed for pleasure. Like, just even talk about like female anatomy, like not like there's certain parts of our body that are literally designed only to receive pleasure.
Right. And I love that.
Right. That tells you a lot about how we're actually supposed to be living our lives, and how that is when we are going to be the happiest and be the most successful. So you're so right. Like, I mean, men are different. They are supposed to hustle. They're supposed to become, right? And I think a lot of our healing as women is this process of learning how to unbecome. Right? Like, so yeah, like taking time to find things in your day for solely just for your pleasure as a woman is going to make you more successful than any, to-do list ever is.
Yeah. And I love that you're doing the work that you do, because I think it is setting up our future generations, because I feel like this is also very generational, right? Even when we're speaking about pleasure, and like my mind goes to like what mom and dad said was appropriate for men versus women. And now we're changing that storyline, which needs to be done for our kids and future generations. So kudos to you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So going back to toxins for just a second, how do toxins, like physical or energetic, block women from feeling like confident, clear, and grounded in their purpose?
Oh yeah, this is huge. We could do a whole episode on detox and toxins. And maybe we will in the future.
Absolutely.
But like to kind of sum it up, I mean, like, just to stress the importance, I don't know anybody on earth that doesn't need to detox. It's that important. Like, our world is so overloaded with toxins. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right.
Like, there's pesticides in our food, our air, our water. It's disrupting our gut microbiome, which then disrupts our hormones, which, right, then we have leaky gut. And when you have leaky gut, we have systemic inflammation. And when we have systemic inflammation, we get brain fog. And right, it's impacting our entire being. And then we can't connect to our intuition because we're so disconnected from our gut, and we're drinking tap water that has, heavy metals in it. And there's so many reasons why we need to detox. And even just, I tell people, like, if you just change one thing, right? Like, don't drink your tap water.
That's amazing. So that
yes.
was going to be my next question. Like, what are a few, I know we talked about going plant-based for short periods of time, but are there any other few like detox rituals or practices women can begin that would support clarity and energy?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, like tap water being one. I mean, our tap water alone has microplastics. It's got pharmaceuticals, heavy metals, parasites, which that can be a controversial topic, but I will go there any day. Even if you go to the doctor and get tested for parasites and you see that you don't have any, it's false. We all have parasites in the body. And a lot of them are coming from our tap water. And the thing about parasites is they literally impact your thoughts.
Yeah.
They are that. Like, from a spiritual perspective, I could kind of, there's a lot there. Yeah. But so that's why parasite cleansing is also like really, really key to access more of like your light and who you are, and to like help move this denser stuff out of the body. So yeah, tap water is a big one. Switch to like, I used to just get like these giant jugs from Whole Foods or the co-op, right? Just fill it with reverse osmosis.
Okay.
Stay away from the, what is it, like the alkaline water, like the fake alkaline water. There's a lot of hype about that, but what that's actually doing is it's alkalizing. It's making your gut alkaline when your gut is the one spot in your body that should be very acidic.
Okay, that makes sense.
So then it's disrupting your digestion. So, reverse osmosis, and then making sure you find a way to get like minerals, or if you have a way to get really great spring water, that's the best.
Okay.
But that's like a little bit more, that's difficult to find and do in large quantities.
Sure.
But yeah, and then the other thing too that I would do, just like a simple detox trick. Have you ever done enemas?
No, I have not, but I have heard and talked with friends about them a lot.
Yes, people have resistance to this. I've had many clients, right, where they're like, "No, I'll do anything you say, but I won't do that."
Okay.
I was like, just one time. I was like, one time, just do it, and then you come back to me. And every time, it's changing lives. Every time they're like, where has this been my entire life? Because we have so many toxins that are sitting inside of the gut.
And is that completely different than like a colonoscopy prep? Because we're at the age where we've done that. And honestly, my husband did it and he was like, I think I should do that quarterly just because I feel so much better. But this is different, right?
It's different. And you know what, if he's like, even he recognized that even just with a different type of colon cleanse, right? You feel, it's like, whoa, I was holding all of, even if you're pooping every day, like you have compacted waste from years of buildup. And so, so coffee enemas are literally going to change your life, like change your life on multiple levels. It's going to help the gut cleanse. You're going to start to support the liver. You might even start to release some natural like gallstones and liver stones.
Wow.
Just from doing the coffee enemas. Improved brain clarity, like confidence, feeling lighter, better digestion. You don't really realize how like heavy you, not, just like heavy energetically
Yes.
you are until that starts to lift. And then you're like, whoa, it's life-changing.
So if you're listening to this, we're taking a checklist right now. Number 1, we're not drinking tap water. Number 2,
No.
we're all going to join on the group of doing a coffee coffee enema. And we will be sure in the show notes I'll get a list of products or just recommendations from Ahna. We'll be sure to include everything and all of her contact in the show notes. So we can, maybe let's collectively, just individually, obviously, but do this and see how we feel. I can't wait to hear back from people. So many listeners are high achieving women. Can you explain how nervous system dysregulation affects ambition, burnout, and money mindset?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, nervous system dysregulation, that has been, like, I never really recognized how the female nervous system really is at the root of our entire well-being. And so this I don't know any woman that doesn't have some form of nervous system dysregulation, right? Like we're in a fast-paced hustle culture world, for one. And then 2, right? We were born to parents that didn't get to fully do their healing work, right? Maybe they couldn't. And so the thing is, like, we literally like inherit our parents' nervous systems. And then we go through our own life experiences that impact our nervous system. And we're living in a world that doesn't really support the slow, soft life that like females actually really need. And so this shows up as, and I know because I could go deeper into when we talk about inner child healing too. I can talk about my journey, but it shows up as burnout, depression, cycle pain, migraines, IBS. If you're not able to relax, or like you feel like you always need to be busy, that is also a sign of your nervous system is like cannot relax. And
overdrive.
It's not super obvious to notice sometimes until it has gone on for too long and our health slaps us in the face and it's like, wake up. Like the body never lies. Like the body is always going to tell us, it's always trying to signal us like, hey, something needs to change, right? And we push through, we try to take the pills, we do the birth control, we do the things, but it's all a Band-Aid.
And I know in my own life, I think that when we say, oh, I'm really in tune with my body, and I feel like I am more so now than I ever have been, but it wasn't because of diet. It wasn't because of exercise. I mean, maybe those things had a little bit to do with it. It was when I really started to practice meditation and mindset work that then the connection was made. So if you are stuck, if you're listening to this and you're stuck in that like fight or flight or freeze mode, and you're just, you think, oh, maybe I just need to exercise or eat. Like maybe you need to pause for a minute, to your point, and take a breath and connect. So you really, if you feel like something is wrong in your body, it is, right? Like you need to listen and figure out what's going on. So what is your favorite daily nervous system practice and how has it changed your life?
Daily nervous system practice. Well, I would say, like, to your point on, I mean, I meditate daily. That's like a non-negotiable for me. And I can even link you to some of my favorite like guided meditations.
Yes, please.
But even just like one of the practices that I do is I go like today I woke up and I'm working through changing my story of not waking up in fear. Because that was my story for so long, that there's a part of my identity that's like attached to that I've like had to do a lot of subconscious work on. And what I did is I like woke up, I noticed my heart was racing, I noticed my stomach was throbbing, right? And I like, okay, I'm going to go into my body.
Yeah.
And so I put one hand on my heart, one hand on my womb, and I breathe deep and I like literally go into my heart. So I picture like the door to my heart opening,
Mm.
and I like connect with my higher self. And it took many, many months actually to like get to a place where I was able to truly hear answers from my higher self on why I feel a certain way, or what I need to do, or what supplements I need to take. But we all have this guidance system. It's just that we've become so disconnected. So anyways, back to your, like, that is one thing I do daily to regulate myself and bring myself back to center. And other great practices, like you can lay against the wall, right? And put your legs up on the wall. So like scoot your butt to the wall and put your legs up the wall, and that activates your parasympathetic nervous system. I also have a weighted blanket that I used for like a lot of my healing.
Okay.
And I also have like an electric hot pad that I put over my womb at night. It's calming, it's soothing, it's healing, and it really regulates my system.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the inner child. How does unhealed childhood trauma show up in our adult lives, especially in like business and finance?
Yeah. I mean, inner child healing is everything. And I didn't realize that at all until, right, certain things aren't presented in our journey until the time is right, until you're ready for it. And so I spent a lot of the beginning stages, the beginning years of my healing, just doing physical detox and all of that. And then when it was time, I was led to inner child work. And when we all have, right, our inner child, and we will always be operating in the world from the wounds that have yet to have been healed from childhood. If we haven't addressed them, rather than a place of like neutrality and maturity. So when it comes to inner child healing, it's like there's a portion of our body that is still frozen in time and until we heal it. And so anytime we're triggered in life now, right, that causes an emotional response, a body response, it's just showing us where something has to be healed. Right. And our inner child might need to be heard or validated. And would it be helpful if I gave examples of like how this looked?
Yeah, absolutely.
For me. So like, because I think it'll help women kind of understand how this looks, but it really is a process of like reparenting yourself and becoming your own like greatest mother. And so that you can flourish and bloom into like the woman that God designed you to be. And so, for instance, like there were so many aspects of me that were still functioning from a wounded child place. And for me, like I was never able to share about the abuse I experienced, so I kept it all inside. So I suppressed my emotions. The anger, the grief, the guilt, the shame. I mean, every single emotion under the sun, you name it, it was stuck inside of my body. And that's why my body as an adult was screaming help. And I wore a very good mask of, I have it all together. I'm perfect. I'm happy all the time. People always called me the smiley girl at school. And so all of those emotions get trapped. And when you go through life like this, suppressing instead of expressing, this will manifest as physical disease. And so, I'm confident that if I wouldn't have worked through this as an adult, this is what turns into ovarian cancer.
Wow.
This is what turns into colon cancer. Like, this isn't random. This is suppressed emotion.
Mhm.
And so for me, I started to do a lot of breath work, tuning into my body, releasing the trapped emotions, and becoming the mother that becoming the one that I always needed.
Mhm.
And so I was able to validate her. And I spent the last 6 months reparenting little Anna, like from
Yeah.
age 2 all the way to age 13. So feeling, right, the sadness, the rage, feeling like a 4-year-old for a few weeks
Mhm.
that was scared of the dark. Like I literally
Mhm.
slept with a light on for months, to, days where I'm journaling and listening to music that was super like that I listened to as a 13-year-old that was like
Mhm.
pretty dark. But she came back up. She
Mhm.
came back up to be heard and to be healed. I went to rage rooms and I threw glass bottles at the wall to get my
That's
rage
amazing.
out. Yeah, like all of these things, sleeping under a weighted blanket. There were nights where I watched Frozen, the cartoon,
Mhm.
back to back to back all
Mhm.
night just to help my little one like feel safe again. And
Mhm.
these are just examples of like what it really looks like to really heal, like
Yeah.
to really reparent and heal. And this is what I help teach women how to do.
I think this actually came up for me um a lot when I became a mom. So I became a
Yeah.
mom, and when my daughter was 2, my mom had left when my younger sister was 2, and I remember looking at my daughter thinking I would do anything in the world to stay with her and protect her and do whatever. And to your point, a lot of rage and anger and just I had a lot to work through. And through that I found healing. I found forgiveness and love for my mom,
Yep.
and she was in her place and I feel like did the best that she could. But it took a lot of time to see that and work through that. And then also
Yeah.
to your point, reparent myself. Some of the most powerful, difficult meditations I've done is that work of seeing and reliving your childhood and that younger Jen, that younger Anna, and
Yeah.
being with them. Like one meditation was like walking into my childhood's house and seeing her and like letting her know it's okay
Yeah.
to leave and letting her know you're going to be safe. Everything is going to work out, and just like meditating and
Yes.
crying and like that's difficult work, but
Yes.
oh man, it is so healing and it just helps you move forward. I don't even say want to move on, but like move forward. And it helped me
Yeah.
be a better mom because I needed that parenting that I was taught and that I was given. I needed that test and I needed to do the work that I'm doing. And I'm not a perfect mom. My daughter will have to
No, it
get
is.
for a picture at some point too. But I feel
Yeah.
like I'm doing better. Right. So,
Yeah. No, that's huge. That's an amazing point too, because that is right. That's like the motherhood journey as well.
mhm,
Like when your kids are a certain age, it's so common for those things, right? When you were that age for that stuff
mhm,
to bubble up. And so that too is also why like also, postpartum, if there's things that we have yet to work through
mhm.
from our childhood, that's gonna come up. It comes up in postpartum and then throughout motherhood. And like you said, it can be a difficult journey, right? But it's like
Mhm.
there's no other way. Like it's also so beautiful because you get to like reclaim that part of yourself that
Mhm.
needed to be heard, that maybe needed to share a memory or that needed to be pulled out of that room.
Yeah.
Like there I did
Mhm.
so many like visualizations similar to you where I literally was like my adult self, I just took her and I moved
Mhm.
her out of that room and we're never going back. Right. And
Mhm.
so yeah, it's powerful work. It really is the way to like when your inner child is like fully integrated and you've healed all aspects, all different ages that really needed to be healed,
Mhm.
the woman in you, the confident woman in you comes forward.
Yes.
And it's yeah, it's powerful.
It's beautiful and powerful. So
Yeah.
I have one more question, and then I know I would love to have you back because I feel like there's so much to your
Yeah.
work. I mean, you're a doula, you do all these amazing things we haven't even touched on. So we will definitely have to have a part two. But can you share
Yeah.
a moment from your own life or from a client's experience where this work led to like real world breakthroughs? I feel like this is a hope moment to give women listening to this that feel like they're at the beginning maybe of this journey and they want to see what that might look like on the other side.
Yeah. Like a time where it was just like a real breakthrough moment. That's a good question. I mean, I would say the biggest, there's a few. I'll just share just a few
Yeah,
because
please.
like this whole journey has brought me so much closer to God
Mhm.
in ways that are hard to put into words. But it was in my darkest nights.
Mhm.
Like there was a time I literally, because something I really struggled with on this journey was um, seeing very negative like images flashing through my mind as I was trying to sleep.
Mhm.
And fear was just right. It like really overcame my body. And I just remember there was a time and I called out to God and I said, God, please help. And every image that I saw is like it got sucked up into a vortex. Like I kid you not. And I heard, Ahna, you've been strong for long enough. Now is your time that you get to be soft.
Mhm.
And I actually had a conversation with God. And it was the most beautiful experience I'd ever experienced because, like, up until that point, right, I felt like, it's like I believed in God, all of
Mhm.
these things. But until you really truly experience a moment like that,
Mhm.
I never feel alone in the world now. No matter how dark it gets, no matter if I have a bad day, like I know, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna get through because God has me.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was just like such a powerful moment that I hope gives other women like faith and hope because like you are always being held.
Mhm.
And despite your past, no matter what you went through, no matter, right, there is always hope for healing. Like
Mhm.
you can live the life of your dreams. You can. You don't like your job. You don't have to stay in it.
Mhm.
You will like you tune into your heart and you take that step that you feel like you're supposed to take, even if it's the hardest one in the world, even if it means leaving your marriage, if it means, right, leaving the city you lived in, like it takes courage, but you will always be divinely supported and guided if you follow your heart. And so, yeah, and you can heal. So I just hope that gives women hope. And just recently, like, I've spent many, many months in very deep healing work that has been difficult. And it was a couple weeks ago that I fully integrated little me. And it was like the last piece. And it was it actually like the last piece was like me healing something from like from when I was like inside the womb.
Wow.
And yeah, so it really goes all the way back there.
Mhm.
Like I had worked through my 2-year-old, my 4-year-old, my 7-year-old, and
Mhm.
all of those memories. And then the last piece was the womb. And when I integrated her, I felt like it's like I felt like this wholeness come into
Mhm.
me. And I was like, oh, oh my God, this is me.
Like
And so,
reborn almost, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
That's
yes. And
incredible.
so, yeah, so the last 2 weeks have been kind of like I'm in this like rebirth process right now since that event happened.
Mhm.
And really, kind of figuring out like, who am I?
Mhm.
Right? Without like so many women that have experienced trauma or things in the past, your identity gets attached to it, and you don't know who you are.
Right.
And so part of my work is helping women reclaim their identity without the past, because the past, right, is all there for learnings and lessons. And, I wouldn't be the woman I am without. And so I think my experiences, and anyways, I want all women to know there's hope for healing, and forgiveness and love is the answer always. But we have to let ourselves be in those emotions before we can get to a place of love and forgiveness. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your courage, for your authenticity, for your vulnerability and sharing this, because it does take a lot of courage. But I think the people we can help most are where we've been, right? And your truth of that, you show that there is ways to work through it, and women can find that. So we are going to make sure we have Ahna's information in the show notes. You brought so much clarity, compassion, and truth. For everyone listening, this is your invitation to slow down and tune in. Your body holds wisdom. Your nervous system holds the key to safety. And your inner child holds the power to create the life you truly want. To learn more about Ahna's work, you can head to regenerativebirth.com or follow her on Instagram at regenerativebirth. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who needs it. And don't forget to subscribe and take us with your favorite moment. Until next time, keep building your wealth from the inside out.